Alma Mudeo and Gift Musician have been trending this week because, well, things fell apart during an interview they were on. And I feel like it was it was not deliberate for them. It's just that somebody got triggered halfway through the interview, because I did try to watch it and they seemed really cool when they were started it. Only when it came to, do you guys have an opinion about the rumors that have been swirling? And somebody was like, this is my chance. You know, we listen, but we don't judge. I gotta put me first. And the revelations by Alma Mudeo really painted Gift in a horrible light. It was just, he's always at my house. He doesn't contribute. Yes, he does editing for me and he's very talented. I actually had to go to Alma's socials to check out her videos. And let me tell you, Gift is talented. Her videos are superb, especially like the brand collaborations. Ukiona ma angles, manini, the editing. I've also seen he's worked with other content creators like Professor of Wakaniaro University. So he does a really incredible job. He is incredibly talented. It's just that where he's putting his efforts, there's not much coming out of it, you know? So anyway, Alma Mudeo goes on a rant and says how this man is depending on her. He never contributes, even cost sharing on it or anything. And this man just sits there and takes it. And I'm just like, so you talking when? As in, if somebody is attacking you on a public platform, you have free will. You can make a choice and say, I don't have to listen to this anymore. Especially if we came in on good terms. You know, tumekuja pamoja kwa interview ya Ogobina to talk about our craft, talk about our content. And then you've switched the script, and now I'm being attacked. And he was even so balancing tears at some point. I'm just like, why did he not walk out? And then somebody in the comment section was like, labda hakuwa na fair. So, it has been heavy listening to this too, to see how it's been unfolding. And Nurse Judy actually had an opinion about it. And she went on to say, everybody has a type, everybody has an opinion, everybody has a preference, anybody can date anybody. And what might be an ick to you may not be an ick to somebody else. We had Terence come out yesterday and talk about how Millie Chebi supported him for 4 years and never complained about it. And I'm just like, okay, that's her thing. If she's gonna be supporting you and standing beside you and doing all of these things and you still cheated on her, good for her. As in, this thing is not for everybody. Only few warriors, only few of God's warriors can support a man and not complain about it. Another story, did we not see Amira support her high school sweetheart all through until they became successful, Jimal? Did he not show her shege? Did he not have other women fighting her in her own house? Did he not move in another girl right next door? So all I'm saying is, this thing doesn't work for everybody. We have seen Denzel Washington and his wife Pauletta and how she supported him when he was starting out. And here they are years later, decades later, still successful. The ick was not there for her. She supported her man. It worked out. So that is what Nurse Judy is saying. It works out for some people, it doesn't work out for some people. But the only thing she had a problem with is the fact that she chose a public platform to air out her grievances. This could have been a private conversation, but I also understand when you love somebody and when you're attached to somebody, it's very difficult to just communicate this and say, baby, me, I'm not happy. You know, I just don't like it. And also, you know, like two people, like, unaweza danganywa tu watakwambia tu buju uingie box, and then 2 weeks later the same thing is still happening and you're still stuck in that cycle. So maybe this was her cry for help and she got it in the weirdest way possible. I don't know if they've separated or if they're still together. She did ask for space though, but yeah, it's been interesting.
I feel like the thing that is causing such I don't know, extreme reactions to this particular conversation is the fact that these are things that happen all the time. Like, people are in relationships where you're normalizing being the parent to someone. Instead of having a partner, you have a dependent. And it's something that's been going on for a long time. And because of the fact that you know, it's been a situation where women are constantly being taken care of, it feels like, yeah, it's my turn. Like, it's my turn for me to do it. Like, I want to be different. I want to be the person taking care of stuff, that level of independence of I can do it. I can facilitate it. I don't need the man to do it. I can step up to this plate as well. And I think that jarring redirection of focus, instead of being in a situation where it will be you being taken care of, never having to work, quitting your job for someone else to do it, or doing what you're passionate about and the other person footing the bill. Like, it's been one-sided for a long time. So oftentimes when you're a woman in a position where you have the financial capacity to take care of someone else, you're like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. Let me just do it. Let me break the mound. Let me be different. And you realize really quickly that just the same way that men will be resentful about taking care of a woman for the rest of their lives, women too will be resentful about it. However, the problem is men have had to do it for a long time, and women are just learning now that, oh my God, it can be very daunting to take up this responsibility. I mean, it's a very gendered topic, unfortunately, and the issue again is, how do you deal with it? Now you're in this situation where you're like, okay, I've been taking care of this person for 1 year. He promised that he will do better next year, did nothing. Now we're in the second year. I'm still footing the bill. I'm still taking care of him. I'm still supporting him. What do I do? And that inability to fully articulate that I don't like doing this, I don't like being in this situation, but still being so in love with this person that you don't want to break their heart or make them feel bad for the limited efforts that they're putting in. Because honestly, I can say, yeah, obviously, if this guy can be able to afford a shoe for 14,000 Kenya shillings, it's not like he's not making money, right? It's just that the money is not being put into the things that are valuable to this person. So there's so many things that are happening in someone's mind at this point in time. I'm sure she's brought it up at one point or another, maybe just in passing. You're like, hey, by the way, you know, I feel like you need to step up. Can you pay rent this month? You know, can you, the car situation, can you fuel the car? I'm always fueling the car. Can you fuel the car? And the person taking up that mantle of like, fine, I'll be fueling the car from now henceforth. And they feel like, yeah, I've done this big thing. I'm fueling this one car and you don't have to come and ask me for money for fuel. Like, the car will consistently be fueled. And that small effort to them feels like a lot. But if you do not communicate that I didn't just mean that you take up more responsibility in our household for one idea or for one concept, like, I want you to step up and be the provider of this household. I no longer want to face that burden. It's difficult to articulate that when you love someone, when you care for someone, when you've been in a relationship with someone for a long time. She said it herself. Hey guys, my friends were telling me, hey, this guy apana, but I went through and continued to do it. So obviously you're not going to be going back to your friends being like, hey, but there, you guys were right. I'm actually not really liking the situation now. Obviously not. You disagreed with them, and the moment you go and tell your friend, but there, you were right, they're like, yep, I told you. Now leave them in. But you're not ready to leave them. So it means you're also not communicating properly with your friends. So you can't talk to your partner. You can't talk to your friends. Who will you talk to, you know? And so you are bottling up these emotions of this needs to be sorted out. And then the moment someone brings it up, I promise you, you will spill like a canary. Utaongea out of utajua. No control. It's going, all the things, all the emotions, all the anger, all the bitterness of like, I get it, but I don't get it. Even the way she's talking on that interview, you can clearly tell she's still debating at that moment in time. This is not something that she had pre-planned. You know, you can tell that she's processing this information as it is coming out of her mouth. Like, she's like, yeah, and you know, I'm not saying he's a bad guy. You know, I'm not saying, it's like she's convincing herself.
She was just as shocked as we were.
All of us were like, where is this coming from? She's like, I didn't know it bothered me this much until this juncture where I am talking to someone who's making me feel free enough to have this conversation. And then you're like, okay, this is my chance now. It's like your brain is like doing math ukondani, but your mouth is also doing math. And the two of them are very unaligned. Your heart is also doing math. So it's like there's a huge, like when I saw that interview and I watched it through, I'm like, girl, I completely understand you. Because obviously in a relationship where you love and respect someone and they tell you something that heavy that you can't sort out or deal with at an instant, finance is the biggest issue in every relationship. In many relationships, it will break marriages that have been 20 years old. So what do you think, you, in your 1 year of relationship that you know better than others? I promise you, Alma had a lot of that stuff stuck inside, and unfortunately, the mound just broke. It just broke in the wrong place, you know? And I feel bad for her. Also feel bad for Gift, man. Like imagine realizing all these things. And the reason why he's not leaving is not because he is unable to leave. The reason why he has balancing tears is not because he is unable to defend himself. It's just like he's also going like, oh my God, I have hurt you this much. Like, you know, like I watched that interview and I'm really just like, I understand. Girl, I completely understand where you're coming from. There are times in relationships where you're just like, I have hurt you this much and you haven't brought it up. Like, why haven't you brought this up? So the wheels are also spinning in his head, right? He's like, how much of me do you not like? How much of this? And how long have you been thinking this way? Like, wheels are turning. Wheels are turning. The boy is just like, okay, so me staying at your house is actually an issue. I should. Why didn't I think of that? Why didn't I? Wheels are that interview. Everything about that interview was absolutely real. Like, that's what real relationships look like, by the way, in case you do not know. That's what real relationships look like. You are shocked yourself as things are happening.